What's up, family? Welcome back to the Leica Diaries episode 4. In today's episode, I thought it'd be fun to take some portraits on the Leica M6 in a studio setting. Now for this shoot, I wanted to incorporate both natural light, constant light, and motion blur just to give it more variety and to see the types of results that I could get on the Leica. Now most of the photos that you'll see were shots on the Zeiss planar 50mm f2.0 that I was graciously loaned by Legacy Photo Lab. Shout out to Sabbath. And I also used my trusty 35mm Voigtlander 1.4. And for the film, it's the usual suspects, of course, some Portra 800 and some Ilford HP5. Now we started off shooting in the natural light setup just to get comfortable with the model, my friend Hannah. Now I started off this roll with the Portra 800 and I was overexposing by one stop, so I was metering it at 400. Now moving on into the second part of the shoot, let's talk about the constant light. Now this is something that I'd never done before, taking photos on either digital or film. And so I thought, why not try something new for a YouTube video, see how well the Leica would render out the photos. And to my surprise, they actually came out pretty good. Now I was using an Amarand 100X, which is a bicolor light made by Aperture. Definitely not the most powerful light in the world, not something that I'd recommend for something like this, but because it was the only constant light I had on hand, I obviously was going to use it. And to be honest, I was using the constant light to try and mimic the style of using a strobe, which I really wanted to use for this shoot, but I wasn't able to get my hands on one. Now on the Amarand 100X, I was using a giant softbox with a grid on it just to kind of make sure that the light was focused on Hannah, not spilling everywhere, and this definitely helped the overall look of the images, especially because a lot of these photos are up close. I want to make sure that she was the brightest thing in the entire frame, as you want to do with all your subjects when you're lighting them. And for these photos, I used a combination of HP5 and the Portra 800. And to finish off the shoot, I wanted to do something again that I'd never done before, which is incorporate this motion blur technique on film. Now this specific technique is something that I use regularly on digital, On digital is a lot easier to use because you can obviously see the images back, see what's working. And on film, you're kind of just shooting away and hoping it works. But when you do this type of technique, you want to make sure that your camera is on the tripod, which is what I did with the Leica. I had my shutter release cable, and I kind of just sent it, asked Hannah to make some random movements to see what happened. And again, to my delight, they came out pretty good, I think. This type of technique is just something that I really enjoy incorporating into the more posed images that I take, just because, again, it adds variety. It's important to incorporate techniques that make the image stand out amongst the rest. Now, as I've mentioned before on the channel, I'm definitely going to be taking more portraits in 2023. That is kind of where my roots in photography was portraiture, and I kind of stepped away from that into more landscape, environmental work. But things are changing, and I'm excited to show that with you, both in the Leica Diary series and in other videos that I have planned for this year. At the end of the day, I was very happy with most of the photos, and honestly, I left the shoot just wanting a 50mm for the Leica. The Zeiss Planar is an incredible lens. I loved pretty much every image that I got out of that one. And as I look back on these images on the 50, I'm just beginning to realize that that is the focal length that just works best with my eye and portraiture. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to sell my 35. That is the lens that I've had on the Leica from the beginning, and I absolutely love it. And honestly, it'll probably stick on my Leica for the time being, just because it's a great all-around versatile lens and a versatile focal length. But you will certainly see a 50mm in the future on my Leica M6. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're using the tools that make photography as effortless and simple as possible. And honestly, everything felt so effortless using the 50 when I was shooting with Hannah. So I'm gonna have to save up for that one. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a thing or two about taking portraits and the process of taking portraits. My process is very simple. I just like to communicate with my model, form a connection, and then just see where things go. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate the support from you guys, and I'm excited to make more videos, both about film and digital. Now, that being said, until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.